everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat, and for today we're going to be doing an indie brand highlight with Saints, Angels, and Sinners. I have 30 palettes here, more to come. I think I have 2 more in the mail, and they also have a brand new collab palette that they are doing with one of my favorite Instagram makeup artists that I have ever come across, and that is Smink Blonde, and that is her. She does like the most amazing makeup looks ever. They're just so colorful and so like, I could never have the creativity to come up with them, and so I absolutely love her makeup. You guys should definitely go check her out. And she is doing a collab palette with Saint, Angels, and Sinners, and that is this palette right here. Also, I got new nails. I'm so excited. I'm like clicking them. But this is the new palette they are coming out with, and I think the color story looks absolutely gorgeous. It's like grungy, but also like great for spring, but also like you could do some fall looks with it, and so I'm so excited for it. But for today we have these 3. So we are going to be doing a swatch-a-thon with these 3 palettes, and then we're going to do an eye look tutorial at the end so you guys can see what kind of look I'm going to put together. And so let's just jump right into this. So the first 2 palettes that we have are actually another collaboration that Saints, Angels, and Sinners did with Funny Butter. And for those of you that aren't familiar, Funny Butter is like a brand that supports indie brands, from what I can tell. They essentially do like collaborations where they promote indie businesses, small business owners, things like that. And so they did 2 collaboration palettes with Saints, Angels, and Sinners, and that is these 2 guys right here. The first one is the Makeup and Chill, and that is this guy right here. BT dubs, there is not a single matte in any of these 3 palettes. They are all duochromes, multichromes, metallics. We're just gonna be covered in shiny things, which is how it should be. And the other palette that they did as a collaboration is the Best Buds palette, and that is this guy right here. Very nice. So we're gonna swatch those first, and then we will jump into the Zodiac signs one last, which is this guy. And that is this palette. Yes, just all of the things. And also, in case you were curious, their little, I don't know if you would call it like a mascot or an emblem, is the cutest little bunny. Look at this little dude right here. And this is an adorable little makeup bag that I was given, and just so cute. I absolutely love it. And yeah, that little bunny is their little dude, and so it's on every single one of their palettes that they will have like the little bunny somewhere on there, and I absolutely love that. As we know, I love cute things. My copacetic mirror, also a cute thing, and so that is just what I am all about. If you give me a cute animal, I'm gonna be like, I will buy everything. Alright, so we're gonna start off with the Makeup and Chill palette. So both of the palettes that are collabs with Funny Butter are weed themed palettes, and so a lot of the names are going to be like along those lines. So the first one up is Jack Herrera. It's a very nice soft feeling consistency, a little bit more on the sheer side. It has that kind of clear to beigey base, and then a shift between pink, green, and maybe like a little bit of purplish blue. So there you can see that clear kind of beigey base, and then the pink into the green. Maybe a tiny bit of gold on there as well, but there you can see at the top the pink, the bottom the green. Second shade up is going to be Chronic, and this is definitely more of a thick consistency metallic. Ooh, it's like a mermaidy shade. I am getting blues to greens to golds, and just all the mermaidiness. So there it starts off with that kind of deeper navy blue, into turquoise, into the green and gold. Ooh, that is, look at it, oh my goodness. Camera's on it today. Yes, oh, I love it. All right, next up is the shade Ganja, and that is this lovely shade. Looks to me so far like pinks, and yeah, pink base, very much so, and then a kind of gold to maybe, I can't quite tell if there's another shade in there, maybe a blue, unsure. So there's the very clear Barbie pink base, and then kind of the gold coating on top there. Yeah, I can't quite tell if I'm catching anything else on there. It looks to me just like the pink base with the gold on top. Then we have Smoke Sesh, and this is again a little bit thicker. Not quite as thick as this guy was, but a little bit thicker. Ooh, okay, and this is kind of your like unicorn shade. It has a teal base, and then green, yellow, purple, pink, all of that. So there's the teal base. You already see a little bit of purple there on the tip. Definitely very strong purple with the teal. A little bit of pink as the light catches it down below. There you can definitely see more of that teal again. And then a little bit of pink, a little bit of greenish gold, but that greenish gold is maybe up at the top's smidge there, but it's definitely not quite wanting to catch that as strongly. But it's a very pretty shade. Then we have Dabs, which looks like it's gonna be another one of those a little bit more sheer shades, a little more grungy. This one has that clear kind of beigey base with green to pinkish as well, but definitely a deeper version than that Jack Herrera shade that we swatched first. So you can kind of see the difference in the clearness on there, that this guy is significantly lighter than this one already. And then there you can see that kind of grungy greenish orange. Yeah, there you can really see the kind of orangish brown to then the greenish, limey greenish yellow. And then I was seeing ever so slight some pink on there, but that might be kind of what's lending the base to look a little bit more orangey, rather than being quite so strong of a pink as what we were getting up top here. But definitely two very similar shades, just that this is the lighter one and then this is the more medium toned version. Then we have the shade Blunts, which is a very thick metallic, very nice grungy brownish gray tone. I'm not seeing maybe like a brown to green. So there's the brown, and then ever so slight, you can get a little bit of an olive green top coat to it, but primarily a grungy brown is what I'm catching. Yeah, with just a little bit of that olive green on top. Then we have the shade Resin, which is a lighter shade again. This is a little bit more of a cross between a magenta and a purple, and it's got some gold speckles on top. So there you can see a medium sheerness on there. You could probably easily build that up to maximum opacity, and then just has those gold speckles on top, but not too much of a shift to that one at all. Then we have the shade Edible, which is, yeah, it's got that kind of cranberry red base to it with a purple to blue shift on top. So there's the cranberry red base. Can already see some of that purple to blue shift as the top coat on there. Really nice, but that is a very nice deep cranberry red for that base. A lot of times I've seen that red base be a little bit lighter, and this one is a little bit deeper, which lends itself to the grungy nature of the palette, which I really like. And then the last shade in this first palette is Best Buds, and that is this lovely lady right here. And this one is kind of a burnt rose shade with gold sparkle on top. Not too much of a shift, so very similar to this Resin shade, just that it's a burnt rose with the gold on top of, instead of more of like a fuchsia purplish shade on there. So there you can see those gold speckles on top of there. Also a little bit more opaque with this guy. This one was a little bit more sheer initially, so this one is a little bit of a thicker consistency for that. All right, then we have the Best Buds palette, which has two of the bunny rabbits on there. First shade up in this one is going to be Kush, and ooh, this is a much chunkier but softer consistency, very reminiscent of the Glam Shop marble shades that they have. And this is Kush. Yeah, beautiful shade. Oh my goodness. And the reflection on there is just, I mean, that is a foil, that is gorgeous. Definitely very much the same with how it applies as those marble shades. It is a little bit that it kind of flakes away, but it is not a glitter by any means. It is just an absolutely beautiful shade, kind of a cross between the Glam Shop marbles and the copacetic flaky pressed pigments that they have. Very similar to that, and this guy does shift between kind of a silvery blue and then a very goldish grungy green with ever so slight of like a kind of brownish cast underneath. So there you can see that silverish blue and then the kind of goldish limey green with that ever so slight kind of grungy brown hint underneath, which is really what lends itself to the grungy nature of the shade. I love it. And it looks like a lot of the shades in this palette are gonna be like that, so I am super excited. Oh yeah, the second one, very much the same. They are very, very soft, so as you are touching into the palette, you do need to be very careful because especially if you go in with a brush, it will kick up very easily because of how soft the consistency is. So this is the shade Hybrid. Ooh, very nice. It's a nice bronzy tone. Oh yeah, I gotta press this down a bit. Yeah, very similar to the flakies from Copacetic, that they do kind of flake out, and so you want to press them in a little bit, but this one doesn't look like it has too much of a shift. It's just a very nice copper brown, which goes really, really well with the rest of the palette because there's a lot of grungy tones in here. I mean, look at this reflect on there. So you can easily build this guy up to just, like, could you just imagine like that on just boom. Next up is gonna be Roach, also that same formula. And this guy looks like it does have a bit of a shift, yes it does, between gold, a kind of copper, and then a hint of like a reddish. So you can definitely see the copper and the yellow. Definitely goes between the yellow and the copper really nicely on there. The red is like ever so slight of a hint on there, but in the palette you can see it. Let me see. Oh yeah. So when I hold up my finger, you can see that reddish hint on there in comparison to the brown, that it just gives ever so slight, a kind of like burnt rosy mauvey kind of shade on there at the very end, but primarily gold to copper. All right, then we have the shade Sativa, which is still a very thick consistency, but not quite as flaky. So this will be interesting to see. It's definitely a gorgeous scarlet red. Oh yeah, beautiful, with ever so slight like a goldish topper on there that creates a nice little bit of a shift. So you can see a little bit where it goes from a pinkish red to more of an orangey burnt red. So right there, as it comes in close and pulls away, you can see the difference in tone on there. Very, very beautiful though. That's like a perfect sunset-y shade. Oh, very nice. I don't have too many like that go from a nice pink to like a burnt orange with a little bit of gold. So that's a really nice one to add to my collection. Then we have Blunt, which is not to be confused with Blunts, which was a very different shade, as we will very quickly see here. Yeah, this is like a perfect pastel-y rose with a little bit of gold speckles on top. So actually very similar to this guy, I would say, in quality. They are very, very similar, but not quite the same. I would say this one is just ever so slightly a deeper tone of mauve, whereas this is more of your burnt rose shade, and then this is leaning a little bit more purple. So they are different, but still, those are two very close to each other, just that one is ever so slightly deeper. All right, and then the last shade for this arm is going to be Indicia, which looks at least like a duochrome to me. Oh yes. So in the pan it looked very different than what it's turning out to be. I've got like pinks and purples, blues, definitely green. I was like, in the palette, it looks like super blue and turquoise green, but then on my arm, pink and purple. So you can already see kind of from further back, it's more of that clear base coat to it, clear to beige, and then it goes from green to blue, and then as you come in close, purple to pink. And as I pull away again, more of that green to then icy blue to purple to then that hot pink. So just all of the shades on that one as I go in and out. So very, very nice, very shiny. I mean, super duper pretty. Really like that one. So that is gonna be this arm. So we do have 3 more shades in this palette before we move on to the final palette, which is Zodiac Signs, and then we're gonna do a look. So first up is Taupe, and this is back to that kind of thinner, more sheer consistency. And this guy goes between green and pink. Interesting. Still not the same as these other 2 from the previous palettes. So we have 3 different versions of a pinkish to green shift. So that is this guy. You can definitely see the clearish beigey base to the green. And then at the top, as it's trying to focus, you can see a little bit more of a pinkish hue. Back to that green. So ever so slight a change between the green and the pink, even though in person it's very clear. But looking at it in comparison to this guy, this one is definitely significantly lighter than this one. And then comparing these 2, this one is a little bit more of a subdued lime green, whereas this is like in your face lime green. So even there, much like with this guy, still 3 different shades. So that's kind of cool. You're getting very similar, but not quite the same. Then we have the shade Mary Jane, which also looks very similar in that it is a pink to green shift with a little bit stronger of an orangey base to it. The pink comes out a little bit more strongly in this one and then goes to the lime green, but you can definitely make out that pink. It is also significantly lighter of a tone than this guy is. So I will say that this one definitely is like the same as this guy. When you hold them up against each other, they look the same. And that was the shade Jack Herrera. So those are the 2 shades so far that I think are the only 2 where to me they come across as pretty much identical. And then the last shade that we have is OG, which is back to that kind of more flaky, softer consistency. Ooh, she's pretty. Oh, wow. Okay. So this one has a very strong kind of lilac base to it and then shifts between blue and gold. But that lilac base also has a little bit of some pink in it. There you can see the lilac base with kind of blue already on top. And then as it changes, it goes between, I mean, that purple, that is such a gorgeous purple, God. Like, and then it goes between a blue and kind of goldish, silverish, not gold. I feel like light, limey yellow, kind of like the limey yellow that you get on here is what you're getting, but just absolutely gorgeous. That is such a pretty shade. And then from back here just reflects like glass. I love those shades. Like, look at this. Here you can really see the kind of yellowish, limey yellowish gold tone on my finger. Versus on here, it's definitely showing up when it comes in close as that silverish blue kind of consistency. But ooh, there you get the yellow. Yes. And then the purple base, very nice. So all of these so far are what you are getting with those 2 collaboration palettes. There are some similar shades between the 2, but I will definitely say that for the most part, it's very different. The formulas are also very different, where you're getting a lot more of the thicker, chunky ones in the Best Buds palette, whereas you're getting more of those, like, these types of metallics in the first palette that's the Makeup and Chill one. And so very different consistencies across the two palettes, which I think is really nice. So depending on what type of formula you prefer working with, I would probably go with one or the other. So it's nice that you can kind of choose between different formulas. And then we have the Zodiac Signs one, which is this guy right here. Stars for my 4 bunnies. Look how, again, how cute are they? And I absolutely love constellations. Like every night, if the sky is clear, I go and look and see if I can find Orion. And that's kind of always been like my marker wherever I am at in the world. I will look up and try and find Orion, and it kind of like grounds me. I don't know if anyone else does that. But yeah, that is what I do. And so we're gonna be going through the 12 signs. So let's start with Aries, which is a very, very red shade. Look at it! Oh my goodness. Oh, all right, this is just a straight blood red metallic. Oh, so nice. Immediately opaque, beautiful. Next up we have Taurus, which is a nice green metallic. Also more on the grungy side. I think that's because it looks like the base is a lime green, and then it's got kind of a medium greenish blue tint on top, which lends itself, you can definitely see some bluish undertones on that top portion, and then the lime green is your base. Then we have Gemini, which looks like a grungy, oh yeah, it's grungy, ooh! All right, and so it's got kind of a more orangey to brown base to it, which oh yeah, you can definitely see the orangey brown base as you're looking at it right now, but then it kind of shifts between a goldish limey green and then almost kind of a bronzy tone with like a hint of like a grayish brown tone, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can really see the brownish kind of chestnutty shade of the base, and then it goes into that goldish limey green on top. Very nice. I definitely have to say it seems like Saints, Angels, and Sinners really enjoys their grunge shades, because all 3 of these palettes have some really nice grungy tones. The other 2 palettes that I have coming also have some nice grungy tones, and then the collaboration palette has some grungy tones. So if you are someone that enjoys grunge like I do, you're probably gonna love this brand, because they have so many really nice grunge tones, which I feel like come fall, I'm gonna be breaking out these palettes on like a constant basis. All right, next up we have Cancer, which also is a very nice shifty shade. This one is back to that kind of raspberry, cranberry-esque base to it with blue and purplish pink on top. So you can definitely see it's that deeper kind of raspberry, and then you get your blue and purple shifts on top. Let's compare. So while they do look similar in tone, the formula is completely different, because whereas this guy is just a straight metallic, this is your foiled flaky. And so you can see the difference where it's kind of chunky up top here. That's because it is more of that marble kind of formula that we were getting with these guys down here. So 2 very different formulas, but very similar looks. So again, depending on what kind of formula you like, you can pick and choose. All right, next up is Leo, which is my namesake. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, bronzy, orangey gold. Like that is a beautiful shade. I don't think I have a single metallic that is this specific tone of like orangey gold. I think they're all either leaning more on the gold side or more on the coppery brown side. I think this is actually the first one of this shade that I have. That's really cool. I get very surprised when I come across a new shade in my collection. Yeah, I don't think I have this specific tone. Oh, that's exciting. All right, then we have Virgo, which is another nice grungy shade. Definitely leaning on the grayish cool tone brown side, but with a like warm toned green on top, which is why it is more of that grungy tone. There you can see a little bit of that kind of greenish on top, but with a very grayish brown kind of base to it. So very interesting, very earthy kind of shade for that one. All right, then we have Libra, which is a very nice, ooh, okay, so this one goes between kind of yellowish copper and reddish. Yeah, this guy, I mean, so first that reddish on there, a little bit of pink at the very end there, and then that goldish orange. Oh, it is so pretty. That finish of the gold on there, like, oh, that is very nice. It is very similar how it finishes to this shade on there. So you start off with this kind of magenta shade, and then it just continues to shift until you end with this. So that is a very pretty shade. Next up we have Scorpio, which looked similar to me. Yeah, it's a little bit similar, but I would say rather than going from orange to red, it's going from yellow to orange. So it is the lighter finish with just ever so slight pink at the end, but primarily more so, yeah, you can really see the yellow on that one to the orange, and then this one goes from orange to red. So two different versions, and yeah, the finishes are just at different points. Next up is Sagittarius, and that is a lovely, lovely, ooh, also, okay, so different formula, but goes from kind of pinkish to orange. Yep, you can really see the pink to orange, but very different formula than this one. Also not nearly as fiery of shifts as you're getting with this one. All right, 3 more shades. First up is a shade that I think I'm gonna use into, I'm feeling like doing blues. Like blues are calling to me. I don't think I've done a blue look in a hot minute. And so this shade is calling to me, and this is Capricorn. And it is a very nice kind of icy blue with a bit of a black base to it, which is what's adding to the cool toned nature of the blue. This is very nice. Not really so much of a shift, but just a very nice metallic. Then we have Aquarius, which looked initially just very, very blue, but I think actually has some shifts between purple and blue and like a lighter teal. Yeah, you can definitely already see up top here kind of a royal purplish navy blue, and then definitely more of a teal almost to green right there. Oh yeah, there's the purple really coming in, and then there's just your straight blue, and then kind of that lighter bluish almost to teal to kind of almost green. Many shifts, and that is also again that more flaky, like thicker consistency. And then the last shade is Pisces, and that is this gorgeous green. Has a black base to it, shifts from that green to kind of a very deep teal. So yeah, you can definitely see the black base as my elbow is like this, into that teal, and then back into that beautiful green. So really, really nice shade on there. I love that green. And then the teal blue just kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit on there. Very nice. So from here over to here is what you are getting with the Zodiac palette. So very, very nice. And then this is all of the shades from the 3 palettes together. This guy is still just reflecting to space on there. It is just like, look at me. So really like all of these colors. I am very excited that I actually have a couple new shades to add to my collection. Who would have thought? Because I feel like I at this point have everything. All right, but we are going to get into an eye look, and then I'll throw on my makeup and everything so we have a complete full face so you can see what the final effect is. And then, yeah, I would love to know what you guys think of everything. All right, so I think for this look, we're gonna do 2 shades to start off with from the Zodiac palette. So we're gonna use the Capricorn shade and the Pisces shade. And then from the Makeup and Chill palette, we are going to use Chronic in the center of the lid. And then we'll kind of figure out what we want to do for the under eye and the inner corner after we've thrown on those shades. So starting off with the light. As I say light, it does have that black base, so it's gonna be real interesting to see how it goes on my eye. But we're starting off with Capricorn. Oh yeah, that went on real nice. I took it a little high on this side, that was my bad. But that is one of the metallic formulas that I absolutely love. Just a dry packing brush, and it went on exactly where I wanted it to, so that is awesome. And it did end up being more icy, which is good. So now we're gonna go into the Pisces shade for the outer corner, and then we're gonna layer Chronic in the center on top. Oh yeah, and they both have kind of like a bit of an icy nature to them, which is really cool. And so I am very excited to see how Chronic lays on top of them. I did pull both of them into the middle just to really have them infuse with Chronic better, just so that the layering effect is gonna be super fun. Oh, and I just thought of what I was gonna do for the inner corner. So I think we're gonna keep that iciness all around, and so I'm just gonna do Capricorn and Pisces on the under eye, but for the inner corner we're gonna use Leo. And so it's gonna be all of your like iciness on the lid, and then that fire on the inner corner. Oh, okay, I'm ready. All right, so now we're gonna go into the under eye with more of the iciness. All right, now that final touch is gonna be the gold from Leo. See how it blends. I absolutely love that. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna throw on my face Tightline, mascara, all of it, pull my hair down, and we're gonna come back for the final look. I would love to know what you guys think. Oh man, this Leo shade is about to be one of my new favorite shades. I'll be RB. All right, and we're back with the final look, so I'm gonna come in close so you guys can see everything. So I really like how it turned out. I think it's such a fun, like, icy blue look, but also bringing out like some of the warmer green tones in there. And I think that everything layered absolutely beautiful. I love the like solid brick gold on the inner corner. I think it's so fun, but I would love to know what you guys think of everything. Which of the 3 palettes was your favorite? Do you have you picked up any already? Have you grabbed any of the other palettes that Saints, Angels, and Sinners has come out with? I am very excited for my other 2 that are going to be coming, and I am also very excited for this collab because, I mean, Smink does an absolutely amazing job on all of her makeup, and I think the color story is absolutely gorgeous for the palette, so I am so excited to pick it up. But let me know what you think. What do you think of all of the swatches? All of the different formulas that were included, the shifts, all of it. I would just love to know absolutely everything. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you did not. Let me know either way, as we always do here. And if you made it to the end of the video and you have not yet subscribed, I would highly suggest subscribing. We talk a ton about indie brands here, super colorful makeup. We swatch absolutely everything. And so if that sounds like fun, I would love it if you would join my family here on YouTube. And we do have a few more days left for you to enter the giveaway if you have not yet done so. Make sure you check out my last speed reviews video that was posted last Sunday. Make sure that you subscribe and that you enter, and other than that, you guys just go have a good one.